Hi, friends. Hello, and welcome to GBH Amplifies. I am Tracy Chang, and I'm the chef owner of Pagu Restaurant in Cambridge, Massachusetts. And today we have a lovely, very special guest, a dear friend of mine, Tran Lee. Tran is the chef, owner, entrepreneur, dog mom, architect of Viet Citron. She's got 3 locations now in Somerville, Cambridge, and Burlington. And so we're going to hear from Tran today about all of her delicious Vietnamese foods. She's even brought some for us to enjoy here at the Boston Public Library. And we're going to learn more about how she navigated this journey towards food and Vietnamese culture. So welcome, Tran. Thank you for being with us.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me here. Wow, this is really surreal for me. I'm really happy to be here.
Tell us about the food that you have here, Tran.
Oh yeah, I actually brought some summer rolls today. Actually, yeah, it's over there, right? We got some shrimp summer rolls, some chicken, some sirloin summer roll, and some tofu summer rolls for everybody. I have my favorite sauce, but I brought 3 different kinds of sauce over there. You guys should try them. And then you tell me which one you like.
Yeah. If they have any questions, your mom is with us today. Should they direct questions to your mom?
Yeah, she's right there. Hi, Mom. Hi.
So Tran, I'm so excited that you can join us today. You're so incredibly hardworking and busy. You're one of the chefs that I admire so much in the Boston culinary scene. Not only did you feed me when I was pregnant during COVID twice and had 2 children, I think my family ate takeout with you at least 3 times a week because the Burlington Viet Citron, you had just opened then, and we were ordering takeout all the time. So that's how we got to know each other.
Yep.
And so I would love for the audience here today, as well as online, to learn more about you, right? Like, why did you start cooking as a young kid? Where did you grow up? What was your family life like? Tell us a bit.
Yeah, so we started Viet Citron in Burlington in 2020. And that was 2 weeks before COVID, when everything shut down.
Oh, wow. So like February 2020.
Great timing, perfect timing. And you know, at the time, it was really tough, but that whole event actually helped us adapt, got creative, and move really fast. Mm-hmm. And I think the whole event really taught us this resilience, how to run a business, how to change things up and not be afraid to take whatever risk we can to survive it, you know. And then last year in 2025, we opened our 2nd location at Bow Market. And to be honest, that felt like a validation of all of our hard work. Yeah. And I love that we built a little small community there. Mm-hmm. And then this year, I think actually just February, we just opened our brand new 3rd location in Kendall Square, Cambridge.
Yeah.
And it's completely at another level, and we're so proud to be there.
Yeah. And that's only 6 years. In 6 years, you've done a lot.
Yes, in 6 years, we did a lot. Everyone came in and asked us, like, well, this look like it's going to be a chain. Are you going to expand? Are you going to do something? And I never felt like I need to expand that fast. I really want to get the system down, the quality of the foods, and still enjoy being in a restaurant. It's not about making money. It's about being with people, being with guests, you know, and working with my team and being hands-on with them. And I didn't want to expand, and then all I get stuck to do is just paperwork and not having fun in the kitchen with my team.
Yeah, and you were in the kitchen all the time.
Yes, I was in the kitchen all the time. It was like 20
I mean, you
hours
still
a day.
are.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But I think that you have this way of kind of balancing, you know, the kitchen time and being that kind of hands-on boss, not just, you know, the kind of dictator type of boss, right? Like, no one wants to work for a chef that is never cooking. Right? And you're the kind of chef that's like, hey, let me show you.
Right.
And you're like, hey, I'm also going to make time and go play in tennis competition.
Yes, I do. I really want to make sure that I can work really hard and gun it for like 10 hours a day in the kitchen, and then 7 p.m., we got to close. Everybody needs to get home by 8 p.m., like leave the kitchen by 8 p.m., go home, have dinner with your family, and I'm going to go play
balance.
tennis.
Yeah, I love it.
You know.
And dog mom. You have beautiful
dog
Shiba.
Mom. Yep, I have a Shiba Inu.
Yeah.
She's a riot.
So who was the inspiration for some of this food, and I guess for your love of food, right? You didn't always come from a food background. You didn't, train in 50 kitchens before you opened, right? And I mean, similarly, I learned with my family members before I went to just a little bit of culinary school, and before I worked in fine dining. But tell us a bit about your path, right? Like, let's visit, Baby Tran. What was Baby Tran doing? Was Baby Tran dreaming of opening a restaurant one day?
No, never. Baby Tran was dreaming about being an architect one day.
Okay.
That was my dream. And my mother was such an amazing cook when I was young. Even until this day, she cooks this really amazing thing. All of our dessert, it's all her. That was not my recipe.
Mom.
She personally made them herself, right? So if you're lucky, you get to come in for the seasonal specials that we have. That's like the pandan mochi. That's all her.
So mom is still guest chefing.
Yes, she's still guest
Wow.
chefing at Viet Citron. So I get my high energy from my mother, I guess.
Yeah.
But she fed me really well since I was young.
And you grew up in Vietnam.
I grew up in Vietnam the first 11 years of my life.
Yeah.
Life was hard back then. There was no such thing as fast foods or anything like that. So everything had to be made from scratch. Breakfast and everything were made from scratch. We didn't have a lot of money, so my mom would give me allowance and said, figure this out. How are you gonna make your own breakfast? How are you gonna make lunch with your cousins?
So before there was Chopped, right? Chopped is that show where you have the mystery basket.
Exactly.
Your mom was like giving you pretty much these like little Chopped challenges.
Exactly. And then the only thing we had in the house at the time was like MSG, salt and sugar. And then the rest of the ingredients were in the backyard. You know, we have morning glory that was pretty much invasive species, was growing all over the back of the house.
So this was your garden.
Yeah, this was my grandfather's garden.
Or your grandfather's weeds.
Yeah, pretty much.
But he had a garden that he tended to as well.
It wasn't really a garden, it was just weeds.
Foraging, okay.
Foraging, you know. And then there was fish in the pond, and then we basically just scavenging whatever we had around the house, and then we would go to the market and buy maybe a few ounces of meat or a few ounces of fish or something, and bring it home and figure it out how to assemble all of those things together.
So you make that sound really simple, but Tran, how do you assemble fish when you have to butcher fish? Who butchered the fish?
Well, my aunt taught me how to do it, and it looked horrible the first
how
time
old
I
were
did
you?
it. I was 6 years old at the time.
Yeah, my daughter is 6 right now. I'm going to send her to summer camp with you at Viet Citron.
I'm happy to take her in. That's my protege. So it was like 6-year-old and learning how to butcher fish. And then I just learned to go fishing with my dad all the time when I was growing up also. And so every time he came home, it was like, here's some fish, like 50 fish, just clean it all up before we freeze it and then save it for dinner and save it for meals the next day or something like that. So I do get really hands-on in the kitchen.
We even have a
at home.
photo of you with the fish, right?
Yes. Yes.
Amazing. And so you were cooking at home with family members in Vietnam. You're only 6 years old. And so tell me a bit about how did that architect dream come about, right? Because the cooking was just kind of everyday survival. It wasn't your passion
Exactly.
yet. You didn't have that idea for the restaurant yet.
Right.
But you had this idea to be an architect. Why?
Well, I think being an architect sounds really cool in Vietnam.
Okay.
Yeah, it's probably one of the coolest profession that you hear about. Like every movie, when people talk about oh, look at that architect drawing, cool houses, beautiful buildings, and all these things. It's a very prestigious profession. And so I had that dream, but I wasn't really good at drawings or anything. And then when I came to the U.S. In '92, my first day in my elementary school, I saw this kid sitting there drawing X-Men characters from his memory. It was very impressive. And he's super smart. We're still friends until this day.
Still friends, really?
On Facebook. On Facebook. And I asked him, I was like, hey, can you show me how to draw that drawing? It's really cool. And he said to me, you can't draw that. And I remember I went home and I tried to draw it. I bought the comic book, and then I tried to draw it. It wasn't that great, but it was mine. And there was no YouTube at the time, right?
Yeah.
There's
no iPads.
No iPads, no YouTube.
Pencil.
I didn't realize that I
eraser.
could go to the library to find books to teach me how to draw, but I was determined to draw that. And I think from that moment on, I realized that I don't know every answer. I don't know how to do everything, but I can learn. And since then, and then after that, I went to the library, learned how to draw, learning some techniques from books, like just how to draw, and then I took classes. Then high school, I took more classes, and then college art classes.
Did this kid follow you too, like through the other schools?
It did. It did follow me through all the way to graduate school and even entering art competition.
He was a bully, this guy.
Oh, actually, no, sorry, I took that back. He did not follow me through school. He went into tech later.
Different school, yeah.
Yeah,
he didn't pursue the drawing even.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's just like small events like that really trigger something in me.
Yeah.
And
then you taught yourself, and then you signed yourself up for classes.
Yes.
And you even brought this lovely handmade journal today. So if people want to get a closer look, I mean, Tran just surprised me with this before coming. But these drawings, and I think we have a few as well, but there are like dozens of drawings here. I feel like this belongs in a museum. Tran.
Yeah.
You're not just good, you're like one of the best. Like you're very humble, very modest, and this is why I like to bring my friends on the show because they are the best. Tell me about how you became an architect, right? From teaching yourself how to draw, going to these, kind of camps and classes.
Right. So I really enjoyed drawing, but at the same time, I was really good at math and science and physics at the same time.
Good
So
Asian
it was
kid.
a natural combination of engineering and artistic skills combined together. And that has always been my dream. And so I went to Tufts for undergraduate, and I did mathematics studies and architectural studies.
You went to my dream school.
I'm so happy to hear that.
Yeah.
And I do remember instead of going out to party with my friends, I spent most of my time in my dorm cooking on Friday nights and weekends.
That was like me in college.
And I thought that was so weird. And then, do you know the Star Market at Porter Square?
Yes.
Yes.
I used to take violin lessons
That was
around
my
the corner.
go-to during the snowstorm for 2 a.m. getting my ingredients. It was like, man, I really want some salt and pepper shrimp. The food scene around Somerville at the time, back in early 2000, there was nothing around there. There was barely any good Asian food options. So I would like walk to Porter Square and get something and come back and cook it myself.
Make it yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, and I did that for a couple years, right, at Tufts. And even by the time I graduated, I was like, maybe I should consider culinary school. But my mom at the time decided, she told me that she would disown me if I decided to become a cook. She didn't call it a chef. She called it
I heard that from my mom too.
This is what we get from Tiger Mom, right?
Yeah.
Asian Tiger Mom, they really want to push their kids to become doctors. And
Because look at how good you were at drawing.
I know. She said, you're so talented and you're really good in school. You should be pursuing your dreams that you've always talked about. Why are you quitting? And then so we made a deal. We made a deal that I would continue to get my master's degree in architecture, and I did. I went to UVA and got my master's degree in architecture. And during that time, I get to travel all over the world.
And you didn't do much traveling before that, right? This was your first time.
No,
like,
I did not do much traveling. I was kind of much hiding when I was in an undergraduate. So when I went to UVA, away from home, away from any kind of constraint.
Bye, Mom.
I said, bye. I said, bye. So I signed up for all the international program as much as I can during my graduate years.
Amazing.
And that opened a completely new door to me.
Yeah. So that's why these sketches don't look like some of the American architecture that we see
No, this
here.
was me spending 6 weeks in Vicenza, northern Italy, literally drinking good wines and
Yeah, this is
eating
Verona.
pasta. And, yep, Verona, Venice. I just walk around the city all day with
These
my
are better
classmates.
than photographs, Tran.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is incredible.
Yeah, and they were pen sketches. My professor forbidden me from using pen, but I said, I hate pencil.
Whoa.
So once it's down,
And not the erasable pen.
yeah, no erasable pen, yeah, nothing like that. So once it's down, it's done.
Wow.
But I learned, I think through that entire process, I learned how space making work. I start to observe how people eat, how people dine, how people experience food.
So you still cared a lot about
I
the
still
food.
care a lot about foods without even realizing that I was looking at that. I mean, I spent a lot of time looking at architecture details, how the building being put together, understanding the flow and adjacencies and things like that in architecture. But I unconsciously
You were hungry, you
about
had to
food.
eat.
Exactly.
And so you also went to one of my favorite cities. I was there 2 weeks ago. You went to Barcelona.
Yes.
Okay. And
Yes.
Barcelona is famous for its architecture. There's
Yes.
plenty of Gaudi,
Yep, plenty of
as well as
Gaudi.
many others. But tell me a bit about your food experience in Barcelona, because I'm a chef and I love Barcelona. I love the food there. And I want to hear, like, you kind of transported back in time having Spanish food for the first time.
Yeah. So up until graduate school, I've had mostly only Asian foods. I don't have a lot of experience in eating non-Asian foods. So Barcelona was my first international, or my first European city that I stepped foot into. And I was so mesmerized with the layers of historic architecture and contemporary architecture all weave with each other. And then the food scene was mind-boggling. And the presentation, the Spanish tapas, paella, and the culture, which is so much fun, so vibrant.
And the markets, too.
And the market, I love the
Yeah.
market.
You can go have the fish, buy it.
Exactly, buy it, and then they cook it for you.
Yeah.
And I remember we went to Parkwell, and we were passing by a local market away from the tourist area. And my friends and I were so hungry, and we didn't speak Spanish. She was Japanese. and I was like, I don't speak any Spanish. So eventually I whip out my sketchbook and drew 2 skewers and a fire flame.
So you spoke sketchy,
Yes.
so that you could ask for food.
Yes, I can ask for food. Eventually the vendor understood, and then we got fed.
Because your drawings are really good. So if the skewers are in here with the fire, I'm sure that they would understand. You're like, 2 skewers, please.
Yeah, I mean, I think I learned a different way to survive in a foreign country, because there were no Google Translate back then, right?
Right.
So you got to do whatever you do to communicate with people.
And not as much tourism, so folks don't speak as much English.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Food and architecture are both languages that
Exactly.
you spoke very well, fluently. Amazing. And were the skewers good?
It was very good. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Important.
very, very yummy.
Yeah.
Totally worth a sketch.
Yeah. Amazing. And so you traveled abroad, you were in Spain, you were in Italy.
Yeah.
You went to China as well.
I went to China. I went to Japan.
Wow.
I went to Munich. Actually, the Munich trip was something that started something in me. I visited my aunt and my cousin at the time. She still has that restaurant now, actually. She has a Vietnamese restaurant in Munich.
Oh.
And she has these 5 communal table, and she only opened from 11 to 2, and then she went home, pick up her kids, biking to the school, pick up her kids, do whatever they need to do, and she came back at 4, and then opened for dinner, and then she closed at 7:30.
Wow.
And I was like, wait, you can do that with restaurant?
Yeah.
I never thought of that. I always thought that working in a restaurant is like, hey, 9 a.m. until like midnight, constantly working and exhausting. And I think she showed me a different door, a different kind of lifestyle to how to run a restaurant. And by the way, the Germans are super adventurous. She was making bún bò Huế with like pork knuckles and pork blood, and they just devour it.
Wow.
Yeah, and then this is bad. This is like,
Well, they love pork too.
well, they love pork, yeah,
Yeah.
and they eat a lot of weird stuff too.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Awesome.
But that,
And does she still have the restaurant now?
yes, she still has it.
Wow.
Yeah, the restaurant's
I
still
didn't
there.
know that. You got family in Munich making Vietnamese.
Yeah, and I
food.
have cousin who owned a couple Vietnamese restaurants in Sweden too.
Whoa. So this like runs in the family. Do they also train to be architects too?
No. They worked more like being forced into. But yeah, I actually didn't really know much about it until much later.
Wow.
So it's pretty cool to know the other people in my family.
And you visited the restaurant in Sweden as well?
I have not. My mom
Okay.
had. Yeah, I have not visited.
So we're going to buy some tickets to Sweden after this?
Stockholm.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, these are big foodie destinations now, right? But your cousins have opened these businesses years before. That's incredible. I mean, it seems like the hard work, resilience really runs in the family.
Thankfully, yeah.
Yeah. But so, I mean, you're traveling and you're loving the food, you're loving the architecture, the culture, meeting new people, trying different foods. And then what happens when you come back? This was grad school still.
Yeah, this was grad school.
You're still planning to be the architect.
I came back. I had $150,000 loans and student loans that I had to figure out how to pay back. So, you know, I definitely have to suck it out.
Vacations aren't for free.
And so I had to figure out how to pay all that money back, but also give architecture a shot. You know, I still love it. I mean, the experience for grad school was one of the best things in the world. If I have to go back and do it again, I would do it again. There's no doubt. I mean, that was the best thing that my mom forced me to get into. Maybe she knows me more than I do.
You said it was hard, right? Like, you don't do this, like, you make it look very easy, but...
It was hard. It was hard. It was very hard. I didn't really know how to speak architectural language. So when I came into grad school, it was definitely challenging. But I came back and I worked for Flavin Architects in Boston for 3 years. We get to do a lot of really cool modern and contemporary residential projects around Boston area. But at the time, I only know how to sketch and design more on a schematic level rather than knowing how the building being put together. So that after 3 years, I got laid off. And my project manager sat me down and said, hey, I feel like I'm the intern. That I do all of the technical CAD drawings for you and you get to do all the pretty stuff.
Oopsies.
I'm like, sorry.
Yeah.
But he was very kind. He said that, hey, if there's any other professions or something you're interested in, you should pursue it. You know, and for him, architecture was the only thing that he knows and that he absolutely loves. So he would do that for the rest of his life because he knows that somehow I think he might have saw something in me that I might got distracted with some other things beside architecture. So that's why he was giving me, you know, he was planting some seed in my head at the time. So I was very grateful for that honest talk that I had before I left. I thought
You didn't cook for him.
I did not.
So he didn't know your secret power yet.
I did think about pivoting at that time to culinary again. But somehow, 3-4 weeks later, I landed an interview with Bolin Sawinski Jackson. That was BCJ. They were the people who designed the famous cube, the glass cube Apple Store and all the famous Apple Store around the world.
So they're
Steve
kind
Jobs.
of a big deal.
They were the big deal.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, how did that happen?
They liked your personality? Like, what was the interview process like?
I literally just submitted my resume and my portfolio to them.
Yeah.
Like I put the, I
This book
scrambled.
right here.
Well, this is just part of the package, you know?
Yeah.
And I brought this and the portfolio to the interview, and Frank Grauman, who was the principal at the time, I was interviewed with 3 principals. I was talking to him, and all he did was kept looking through my sketchbook. I'm not even sure if
he didn't even listen. Sure he didn't even listen to a word you said.
Listening to
like me, I'm just looking through the sketchbook.
Yeah, he was just looking at the sketchbook, and the next day, surprisingly, I got a phone call and said, "You got hired." And one of my best friend who happened to work there, she said, "Yeah, Frank kept talking about your sketchbook, and he said he hired you because he was mesmerized with your sketchbook." So
yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Take that, bully! Remember the X-Men bully?
Yeah, so you get hired for doodling,
right.
Not for technical skill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then you spent quite some time there at BCJ.
I did. Yeah, I did. I spent 6 years at Burlington Winsky Jackson.
That's a big deal.
It was a big deal. I learned a lot. Mm-hmm. They were a really amazing group of people, super talented. But I found myself to struggle. Mm-hmm. I didn't feel like architecture was natural for me. Mm-hmm. It was something that maybe my competitive drive was telling me that I can do it. Mm-hmm. I can hang with these guys. I can hang with the best in the world. Mm-hmm. But deep down, I didn't love it. Mm-hmm. And eventually, the deadline, the 3 weeks deadline, 16, 20 hours a day charrette for deadline just burned me out.
Yeah.
So much that I decided, okay, I can't see myself in my 40s and 50s doing this.
Yeah. And you had already stayed there for so long. Did you say 6 years, 7 years?
Yeah, for 6 years. We had bought a house in Bryn Mawr. We were going to settle down there. We weren't going to come back to Boston.
Yeah, you're in Philly.
I was in
Philly.
Away from family.
Away from Asian food again. How did that happen again?
No, South Philly had amazing Asian food. South Philly have one of the best spot for different ethnic foods. And
okay.
I live.
So you're happy you have Asian food there.
Right. I was happy. Yeah. I had my whole tennis team. I was captaining tennis team. It was so much fun. Life was awesome.
Yeah.
But architecture did not resonate with me anymore 10 years into my career.
And you and Howard were already married then?
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Okay. Howard and I already married. I've been whispering in his ears about opening a restaurant. Mm-hmm. He was so scared. Mm-hmm. He was so scared that he thought about running away.
From you? From where?
From me. He was like, "No, I'm not going to marry you if you're thinking of opening a restaurant. That's like 60% failure rate."
And together.
And
right?
Together,
you weren't like, "I'm doing this by myself." You're like, "We're going to do it together."
Yeah, you're like, "Hey, you're in this with me, right?" He's like, "No."
Wow.
Yeah. So, but hey, somehow he's still around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, so you were there for 6-7 years at BCJ, one of the most prominent architecture firms. I know a little bit about architecture because my husband has 3 degrees in architecture.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
And doesn't practice it.
Oh.
Yeah. He taught himself how to code and and works in tech now in AI.
Oh my God.
He just tells
that
AI
was a smart. That's smart move on his part.
But the thing that he told me about architects and architecture, he said, you either have to be from a wealthy background,
yes,
or you have to be brilliant
exactly.
and very good at architecture.
Right.
But everything in between is like riding the struggle bus every day.
Exactly.
Right, where it's just like hard to make a living, hard to make money.
Right.
Or just like the hours just burn people out. It's a really difficult profession, mm-hmm. even though it's kind of painted as this illusion of a great profession for
Correct.
Young kids.
Correct. Yeah. I totally agree. So
I guess to me it wasn't I guess not like a huge surprise because he had told me that about architecture. But you had also like a pretty clear vision about what you wanted to do. It's not like you had no plan, right? Like you said, hey, like I've been spending, time doing tennis. I've been spending time cooking and time doing architecture. Okay, let's drop the architecture and let's go into the food full time. Howard, let's go, right? And then he said,
yeah, he's like, no, not yet. You need to be in the field for a little while. Mm-hmm. And I think he was right. He really wanted me to learn. Mm-hmm. There's the beauty about being in the architecture world is that there's so many skill set that you can learn in there. as an architect, you don't know everything. Your job is to coordinate with the engineers. You talk to your clients, you talk to your vendors. You're the one who control all the Muppets around.
Yeah.
So you have to learn how to see big pictures. And that kind of skill set actually translate really well into the kitchen later on.
Yeah.
And I was very grateful to have that, to be able to bring that skill set into the culinary world that I'm in right now. But eventually I told Howard, it's like, hey, can you look for a job in Boston? I really miss home. Like, if we're gonna pivot, I wanna be near home.
And this was Howard, who is coming from the food industry.
Howard worked for Campbell Soups and Kraft Foods, and then eventually he transitioned into tech with Thermo Fisher, but he was in the HR management positions for those companies, yeah. So he's used to the corporate culture, and he brought, he's bringing systems like logistics and just
And people skills is one of the hardest things in
right, and
in
people
restaurant.
skills and also discipline, something that I lack. I'm always on la la land. Oh, I want to do this. I want to do that. And he's like, no, you need to show me why you're doing it. So we came back and he said, hey, you've been talking about the restaurant, right? And I got the job at Thermo Fisher. I know you're going to starve the first 3 months. The first 3 years that you open your restaurant. But it's okay. But if you want to chase after your dream, go ahead. I'm here. I will support you. And you.
I'll support you from Thermo Fisher. Like he was
exactly. He said, don't count me in. Don't count mom and dad in.
Yeah.
Don't count your brother in. Nobody's gonna come in and save you when you die after 16 hours.
Yeah.
You have to be on your own.
Dang.
And he said, so even though we're married, I will not go in this venture with you without a business plan. And I said, are you serious? He said, business is business.
Yeah.
And I don't want that to affect our marriage. Wow. So I actually sent him 3 business plans.
Okay.
The first 2, he tossed it in the trash. He's like, this is BS.
They're not attached here.
No, they're not attached to the sketch, right? But he said, this business plan is BS. I want to see projections. I want to see numbers. I want to see costs and constructions. The projection the first year, second year, third year, your labor costs break down, your projections for the next 5 years. And by the 3rd round, he like, all right, let's talk. So I was taken back by it at the beginning, but I over time I learned that level of discipline and skill set is really making Viet Citron successful today.
Yeah.
He's the one that always like, do it the right way or don't do it.
But did he join in early on? Like, did you guys?
Yeah, we put our money in
build it
together, but I was running the whole restaurant by myself with my manager who never had any management experience before in the restaurant world.
Yeah, and again,
the 2 of us were just learning together of how to run it.
In February 2020 too.
February 2020.
Yeah.
We opened, and we already heard about COVID, but Howard's like, why don't you just open and see what happens?
Yeah.
If you don't open, you won't know. We opened 2 weeks and then we shut down for 3 weeks. And then he said, all right, you're just gonna eat instant noodles for the next year or 6 months. I will feed you, but if you can do the math, you can pay the staff, right? If you open 2 days, can you pay your staff? Can you pay the food? Can you pay for the overhead costs? If that's the case, you're good. And then you just have to adapt, right? You got to figure it out. Like, nobody's dining in anymore, so you need to contact all these people. How do you negotiate? DoorDash and Uber and everybody was calling me like, oh, 20%. It's like, no, I want 10%. And eventually, somehow we got that rate, and then we negotiate. I learned how to negotiate and adapt the whole team and make changes. And
you're still here. So during COVID, some restaurants, they either closed or they tried to do multiple pivots. Maybe people realized that, it wasn't their best skill set or it wasn't their dream anymore to continue to work in restaurants. But you decided that it was a good time to open a restaurant in February 2020.
Yeah, I don't know who came up with that idea to open a restaurant in 2020, but
You and Howard.
yeah, me and Howard, we were ready for recessions if in case there was a recession, but I don't think we were ever thinking of being ready for COVID. No one did. And so that event really forced everybody to adapt really quickly, and we transitioned from dining in into more takeout, online orders, and that really helped us survive through COVID. And you were one of the customers who actually came 2-3 times a week to make sure that we were still there. But I think most people were looking at us, I'm like, man, they were probably gonna die. They're not gonna make it.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of people that I talk to who love Vietnamese food were like, hey, like we finally have something in this area. Because in Burlington area, you just don't find a lot of Vietnamese food. And if you do, it's usually, coupled with like Thai food and coupled with something else. It's like, okay, they have like 2, menu items that are Vietnamese-ish.
Yeah.
And so we were like, hey, you can get like authentic Vietnamese food. It's healthy too, like it's very substantial. I mean, I can get a banh mi and I can eat it today and tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right? And I think a lot of people were in that mindset during COVID of, oh, maybe I need to kind of meal plan for a few meals ahead.
Yeah.
Because maybe they were getting sick of their own cooking. Or because yours was so darn good. It was addicting. Like it's something that you really can eat, 2-3 times a week. At least I could.
Yeah, I think when I was doing some location research, I was looking around adjacencies, and we were right next to H Mart, and so we know our base going to go to H Mart a lot. Being right next to it is really good visibility, and also in Burlington at the time, there were mostly more, I would say, Americanized Asian foods, and there's not really any Vietnamese options around there, like you said. And I really feel like authentic Vietnamese food should also be available in the suburbs, not just
in
Boston.
Dorchester.
Right, not just in Dorchester, or yeah. So it should be available, everywhere. So
yeah. So is that the goal then? I mean, Vietnamese food should be available in more places, right? Now you have 3 locations. We got Somerville, Burlington, Cambridge, and Somerville and Cambridge happened, like kind of back to back almost. Like within a year of each other?
yeah.
Right? So like once you got the hang of opening another one, then you said yes, like to the 3rd location. Is it getting easier?
I think it is because now that we've got the system down, we've done the second one. That was the hardest one. But I think we already knew what to expect when you open a restaurant, what are some of the challenges what we need to tackle right away when we open the restaurant. So when we opened Cambridge, our 3rd location, it was much easier to adapt. And actually, Howard and I were on vacation 2 weeks before we opened Cambridge.
Dang.
We were like, hey, we got the spreadsheet. We know what we need to order.
Yeah.
Everything is already pre-ordered.
And you had your team.
And we got our team. We pre-trained them in our Burlington kitchen for like two months. We told them like, hey, keep your job, and I'm happy to train you here 1 day a week. And then eventually when we say go, then you guys can come and join us.
Wow.
Yeah. So we were ready.
Yeah. And you guys take such good care of your team. So, I mean, you have like young folks, you have like Vietnamese grandmas, like you have your mom, right? And you guys have started like a 401k plan for them.
Right.
And you've been helping like high schoolers like learn how to save money.
Right.
Right? Like I think that's so admirable, and I think that that's how like small businesses should be run, right? But you guys had that idea from the beginning.
Yeah, we've had that idea from the beginning. Howard and I, we said, if we're gonna open a restaurant, and we have to, first of all, we have to price it in a certain level to be able to afford that. And we didn't believe that restaurant workers should be treated any less than white collar workers. We both coming from that, and I said, why can't they have benefits? Why can't they have 401k? Why can't they have insurance? Why can't they have normal sick hours and enjoy vacations? Why do they have to work 2 jobs?
Right.
And our goal is really to take care of our team so that they don't have to work a second job. And actually, I'm very proud to say that 80% of our staff only work for us.
Yeah.
They
That's
make
incredible.
enough living. They take their
Yeah.
family, go on vacation. They bought a house. They bought new cars.
And I mean, and you're kind of rewriting that narrative too for like how much food should cost so that people can have, you know, more than a living wage, right? So that they can have, you know, time for tennis, time for their families, and work one job like other white collar workers. I love that. I think it's the example that we should set in this industry. So.
So people, I think I talked to some of my family friends when we first opened, and I said, hey, I'm going to charge $12 for a crispy pork belly banh mi. That was our price. And the normal price was about $6 at the time. That was a sticker shock. And our family friends, like, that's crazy. I wouldn't pay for that. And I told them, if you run the business correctly, by the time you do the tax, by the time you do all of these benefits, the pay, and if you pay people proper wage, actually making a living wage, you need to charge it at a certain point, right? And Howard made me watch Impossible Restaurant for like 2 years in a row before we opened the restaurant.
Your homework, yeah.
My homework, right?
Yeah.
And to understand why things went wrong, right? And sometimes we try to please our customers so much by underpricing so that we can compete with other restaurants. But for us, we picked up a location in Burlington where we weren't competing against mom and pop. We were competing against Capital Grille for staff.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're making $20 something an hour, and if our staff after tips don't make that much, they never come and work for us.
Yeah.
And some of them have to travel like an hour and a half from like East Bridgewater to come up and work for us because they love working for us.
Yeah.
They come from Quincy. That's like an hour.
I know people travel about an hour to work for us too.
Yeah. So you know.
And on top of that, though, you guys also, I mean, not only do you charge properly for your food,
right,
but you also put it back into your employees and you give it back to your community. So you guys often are partnering with different nonprofits like World Central Kitchen,
right,
and you're paying it forward.
Right.
So I don't know. I just think I think that you're such a talented human being looking at this sketchbook in front of me, and even more so, like you're just a great, thoughtful leader. And I think that the industry needs more of that, and I hope that we can open many more Viet Citrons. So thank you, Tran, for joining us today on GBH Amplifies. Thank you, everyone here, for joining us at the Boston Public Library. For GBH Amplifies, this is Tran Lee.
Thank you. Thanks for having me here.
This is Tran Lee of Viet Citron. You can find Tran and Howard in Somerville, Burlington, and Cambridge. And they have 3 locations now and hopefully many more coming. This has been another wonderful episode. I would love to thank our GBH production team. So Sandra Lopez-Burke, Lauren Herbert, Juan Jose, Kalena Dueñas, Maddie Geyer, and Steve Baraki. So join us here next month for another episode of GBH Amplifies on April 23rd. Thank you.
Thank you.